Welcome back to the Reidel Law Firm Library and Odyssey channel. Today I want to chat a bit about different export licensing options that you may have. So this is for folks in the defense industry who need to figure out what licensing they need. We're going to chat a bit about that. In the meantime, if you need help with international trade matters, imports, exports, defense exports, or stuff like software encryption, just heavy machinery, any of that, or you have concerns about sanctions compliance, give me a call. That's what I do. Do a handful of things and that's it, and I do them very well. So love to chat with you. Love to hear about your business and how we can be of assistance to you. I work all over the world with people, and it's always interesting to hear the challenges out there that I can help with. So let's jump right in. This is defense export licensing types that I want to mention. This has come up a couple projects recently with clients working through what types of licensing the Department of State issues for export, export items of defense articles. And so some context to this is that the United States Department of State, they have an agency called the DDTC, the Directorate of Defense Trade Controls, DDTC, and they are the agency that's responsible for licensing the export of defense articles. So they're the people that you apply to. They're the ones that review everything and issue it. They do some compliance enforcement. A lot of that usually is BIS, but anyways. And so basically when you're dealing with DDTC, there's a handful of licenses that are most common. These can be either for permanent export, which means you're selling it and it's gone and that's it. The other person is going to use it. Could be for temporary export, which means you're sending it somewhere, maybe for an upgrade or modifications, and then it'll be returned to the United States or potentially another country or re-export. That gets a little tricky. So that's kind of the two categories, right? Permanent, there's temporary, and within that there are different licenses, right? So they're starting with temporary import or temporary export, licenses. There's permanent export licenses. There's classified export licenses, and all of this is under the umbrella of what types of forms you have to prepare, what types of due diligence you need to have ready for DDTC to get all of this approved. So it's really important that you identify what those are, right? Which categories you need. So besides temporary versus permanent, there's classified versus, there's classified versus services and defense articles themselves. So there's kind of categories and subcategories. You go down these branches to figure out what you need. There's a difference between exporting, say, munitions, a bullet or a pack of bullets, versus exporting consulting services, right? You're going to teach some foreign military how to use those bullets or how to use a new technology or something. Those are two different licenses, right? One is a good, it's a product, maybe permanent. Another is services based, and it may be permanent, maybe it's temporary, depends on what you're doing and such. So yeah, that's really it. I mean, I could list them out for you, but really, I don't know. There's all these numbers. DSP, 61, 73, 6, 5, 85, which is classified. But honestly, it's really irrelevant, right? What the numbers are and what it is. The key is you got to work with somebody like me, right, a trade attorney, someone who's an expert at defense articles and defense exports, to help walk you through the questions that you need to ask, to walk you through preparing those paperwork, and more importantly, the due diligence items. You got to know who you're dealing with on the other side. You're going to need to know. You're going to need to acquire or have in the pipeline end user certificates and dealing with compliance on the other side. So if you're dealing maybe with, say, Morocco or something, you have to have Morocco government approvals, and you have to have paperwork for that. So the license type is what it is. It's there, right? You got to pick the right form. But the more important piece of that is how you get to that decision stage, right? How you have chosen what form you're working with and why, and then the due diligence items behind that. So I don't know if that's interesting for folks. Just had it come up. Figured I'd share a little bit of some details on it. So hope it's interesting to you. If you need some help with exporting defense articles, give me a call. It's what we do. And it's been somewhat of a dynamic time for the defense industry lately. So everything it's just moving so fast, and it changes rapidly. The sanctions compliance and the sanctions parties are changing all the time. You really got to be up to speed. I would not want any client or potential client to rely on information from a couple of years ago, because what you may need to do now is radically different, especially in the defense industry, than just a handful of years ago. It's crazy. And that's because of a lot of things, right? Issues with China, issues with Russia, issues with the Middle East. It is rapidly evolving. So dynamic time in the industry. It's somewhat fun and challenging. That's what I like. So give me a call. Let's chat about what you're doing. Love to hear about it and see if we can help you. And until then, we'll see you next time.